A man killed his friend because he summoned Bigfoot to eat him. 55-year-old Larry Doyle Sanders went on a noodling trip along the South Canadian River with his friend, 52-year-old Jimmy Knighton. The two had been friends since high school. For those of you who have no idea what noodling is, I googled it for you because I too had no idea. I'd seen it in movies and TV, but that's pretty much it. Noodling is when fishers use their arms as bait, allowing fish, usually catfish, to bite onto arms just past the wrist. Once the fish has bitten on, the noodlers take them out of the water. So the story begins when Larry and Jimmy make a stop to get beer around lunchtime on a hot Saturday, July 9th, 2022, just a few hours before going fishing. A cashier and cook noticed Larry appeared to be under the influence of something and was looking around the store. She recalled a coworker told Jimmy that Larry was acting strangely and to watch out for him. But Jimmy just giggled and laughed it off. I am sure this isn't the first time he's seen his friend this way. However, I hope he took the advice of the stranger anyway, because what I'm about to tell you is strange and bizarre. It involves a monster. Someone does get killed by a monster, but it's no Bigfoot. Larry began to grow suspicious of Jimmy, apparently immediately. Jimmy was on a phone call with someone and walked away from him. Larry claimed that Jimmy would occasionally look over his shoulder at him. And even more bizarre to Larry was that once they had parked their car, Jimmy left to go down to the river and didn't take any water with him, just a beer, which Larry thought was super odd because it was a really hot day. But he took his own advice. He grabbed some water and sports drink from a cooler. Then as he was getting ready to go to the water, Jimmy was already about a quarter of a mile away from him, which Larry thought was strange as he didn't think Jimmy had enough time to get that far. Then, in a bizarre twist, Jimmy was at the top of the rocks and began howling in such a way Larry described as just a wailing of lungful of air. Fearful of Jimmy, Larry crossed the current of the river and back on the sand. Then, Jimmy got back in the water and told Larry there was a fish inside a pipe. Jimmy began to yell at Larry to grab the fish from the pipe, but Larry didn't want to. He wasn't comfortable doing this. Just then, 45 to 50 yards away with its toe in the water, Larry saw a black Sasquatch about 12 feet tall. He claimed the creature's face was obscured by some leaves on an oak tree limb. And as if one Sasquatch wasn't enough, Larry noticed two other Sasquatches up the hill beyond the rocks, a red one and a dark brown one. When Larry was asked if he informed Jimmy about the creature, Larry replied, "I'm pretty sure he was aware of it." How strange Larry saw the Sasquatch and didn't inform Jimmy of it. I'm sure he would have wanted to know, right? Well, here's the thing. He felt that all of these occurrences were a part of some setup Jimmy conducted. Yep, Jimmy was going to kill Larry and then send his body floating down the river towards Bigfoot for, I guess, Bigfoot's lunch. Well, sometime later, Larry saw some ATVs in the distance, which he then claimed Jimmy walked towards instead of walking towards his parked truck. Of course, Larry's growing more and more suspicious, so he pushed Jimmy and told him, "Let's turn around and go to the truck," because they had a planned cookout at the house. But Jimmy just laughed this off. So to get Jimmy's attention, Larry picked up a willow switch and hit Jimmy with it, but that's not what led to Jimmy's death. At some point, they walked back to the truck. Concerned, Larry asked where the vehicle was, as he believed they should have already gotten to it. Larry then claimed that Jimmy turned around and knocked him to the ground. Then, Jimmy held him in a chokehold on 2 occasions, and so, of course, Larry tried to gouge Jimmy's eyes out. Jimmy finally let go of his grip, and this is when Larry put him in a chokehold until he no longer moved. If it wasn't obvious, Larry is on some sort of drug. I should let you know Larry was a user of drugs, including meth, and he was a big believer of Bigfoot, or the Sasquatch. Those who testified against him said that his Bigfoot rhetoric is more pronounced when he is under the influence of drugs. Dr. Regan Gill, a forensic psychiatrist, performed a mental evaluation on Larry after his arrest. He reportedly suffered from a drug-induced mood disorder and is considered to have bipolar disorder as well. She described Larry's beliefs in Bigfoot as, quote, delusional. Larry told Dr. Gill he first started using cannabis in his sophomore year of high school, and then first used meth in 1990. He reportedly had used cannabis daily since, and used meth sporadically from 1990 to 2004, then 2 to 3 times per week from 2004 until the death of Jimmy Knighton. He also reportedly used meth 3 to 4 days before he and Jimmy went fishing. The defense indicated that Larry was in a psychosis when he killed Jimmy, which was possibly influenced by meth use. Jimmy's family said that Jimmy truly enjoyed anything and everything outdoors. He loved to fish, hunt game, ride four-wheelers, and most of all drink his beer around a big bonfire. Jimmy never met a stranger and would give anyone the shirt off his back. Larry was found guilty and sentenced to life behind bars without the chance of parole. Now, it's very obvious that Larry was under some sort of influence of drugs when he killed Jimmy. However, no one knows if he made up that story of Bigfoot because he was a fan of Bigfoot or if he actually believed that he saw Bigfoot. Whatever the case, I'm sure Larry is safe from Bigfoot behind bars for the rest of his life. However, I do hope that he gets the help that he needs while he's there. I hope that Jimmy's family can find some peace as well now that the real monster is behind bars. What do you think of this case? Do you think that Larry actually saw Bigfoot? Do you think he was delusional? Whatever the case and whatever your belief, I'm sure we can all agree that an innocent life was taken for absolutely no reason. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. It really helps my small channel out. And for now, take care and stay safe. See you later.